Welcome back to D Truth Talk Podcast. Today we're going to have a deep philosophical conversation about how life fundamental principles like time, self awareness, and problem solving skills not only control our existence but also govern our success as entrepreneurs as well too. And a lot of times we don't understand that our success in our lives is directly linked to how we think. So if you want to stop chasing money and you want to make money actually fulfilling your life's purpose and your life's mission, then this episode is right for you. Let's get right into it. So as we talk about financial security, as we talk about financial wealth, we have to start off from the way that we think and the way that we perceive things as far as our mindset. Our mindset dictates how we see things, our level of awareness, and that includes our relationship with time and money, our awareness of how time and money operate, and our ability to be able to solve problems in our life. We're going to break this down in two categories. We're going to break this down as somebody who uses a survival mindset, needing to get by, needing to survive, and somebody who lives in a creator mindset and they want to create their reality and they want to make things happen the way that they intend for them to happen in their life, right? So we're going to just break down some of the differences, but we want to break down some of the similarity first. What is similar between a survivor and a creator? Well, right here, the facts that we know is over 73% of Americans want to be financially secure. They want to be millionaires, right? They want to have an abundance of wealth, an abundance of resources, abundance of money. Over 73% of people want this, but only 3% of people are willing to actually do what it takes. Only 3% of people in America are millionaires or will become millionaires, right? 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 70% say that money is a stress factor in their life. And more than 50% of people don't have a financial plan. So that shows you there is very vast similarities between someone who wants to be a creator and someone who is surviving. They both want money. They both need to survive. They both have desires. What is different? The difference is their actions. There is a huge difference between the desires that we have and the actions that we take. And a lot of times we have to ask ourselves if the actions that we take correlate with the desires that we have. So we're going to talk about the way that we perceive things, the way we think about things that are actually hindering us from being able to become financially secure. And a lot of people, if you're watching this, you may struggle or have struggled in the past from a survival mind state. But I'm going to explain to you just why living like this in survival will automatically make it impossible for you to be able to create financial wealth, for you to be able to create financial abundance, right? So if we just jump into it, our relationship with time, but I also put the relationship with money because time and money are synonymous as well too. A lot of people who live in a survival mind state, they are willing to trade time for money. That's why they work a 9 to 5. They know if I can get paid per hour, or if I can get paid $30 an hour, I can make this much. But at the end of the day, you can have my time, and you're going to trade me my time for money. And that is a useful way to make money, but is it the best way? So a lot of times when people trade their time for money, or they have a perception of time and money where they feel trapped in time. They feel like they're running out of time. There's not enough time. They feel scared to make mistakes. A lot of people are scared to die or scared to leave this earth because they feel like they haven't accomplished everything that they want to accomplish, that they have been living out of regret, things like that. But in reality, if you are scared of death, if you are scared to make mistakes, 9 times out of 10, you're not fully living. You're not living to your fullness, so you're likely already dead inside. A lot of people who live in a survival mindset die internally before they ever die in real life. That's why you have people running around looking mopey, being sad all the time. They just look drained. They look depressed, right? Because inside they're not alive because they haven't really utilized their full potential and they don't know what it takes because they're living out of survival, just trying to get by. So the way that they see money and the way that they see time, they feel as it's something that constrains them, that controls the way that they live. So if time controls the way that you live and you always have to run around time, or if money controls the way you live and you have to always run around and chase money or figure out how to survive, your life is going to be way more stressful. A lot of times, if they are living in a survival mind state based off of time and money, a lot of those people can become bored. You hear a lot of people say that they're bored, but what does bored mean? That there's nothing to do? Well, there's always something to do. Somebody with a creator mindset would likely know that boredom only equates to a lack of productivity, because there's always something that we can be doing, always something that we can be learning to be able to get better and be able to move forward together, right? So we're going to realize how we can use the equation of time, strengthen awareness, and problem solving abilities can create financial wealth, or how these things create our financial situation or even create our life, right? So let's just break down time, how we see time, and then that creates our awareness. And based on how we perceive time and how we are aware of what's going on, gives us the ability and how we solve problems. So survival mindset people and creator mindset people have two different awarenesses, two different ways of solving problems. But just real quickly, what we're going to do to make it easy is we're going to dive down into the survival mindset that most people are trapped inside of. Excuse me. Right. So as we dive into the survival mind state, let's just take a look at the perception of time, the overall awareness, the way that we solve problems, and the results that come from that, as you can see listed. But let's walk through it really quickly here. So you got time and money. We're trapped in time, running out of time, scared to death, aka scared to fully live, right? Scared to make mistakes, very bored often. A lot of times you'll find them bored and they just wasting time. They live out of the past, and that causes depression. They can't live out of the future because the past is creating the future. So a lot of things are happening. They're doing very anxious or in a very depressed manner. They're not really grounded and aware of what's happening at this very, very moment. They thinking about what has happened, or they're thinking about what is going to happen, which is non-existent at this point, right? So the awareness that they have is a awareness of lack. They're aware of what they don't have. They're aware that they don't have enough. They need more and they need it now. They think that the things that are going to make them better are outside of themselves, and they have to do set things, or they have to accomplish set things to be able to feel accomplished, right? They are overthinking about the future and what is going to happen, and that creates anxious people, that creates anxiety. Or they are sad about the state of the world and the things that have happened or the direction things are going in, and they can become very depressed. And when you're depressed and when you're anxious, it takes you out of the present moment because you aren't fully aware of what needs to be done in this moment to create the future that you want for yourself. So they likely become victims of life, victim of circumstances. Things are happening to them. People are doing things to them, and they're just reacting to these situations, right? They feel burdened by life. They're not happy. They're not feeling fulfilled by life, and they become very critical. They become very judgmental. They're going to tell you the problem with everything. They can see everything wrong. They can see why things won't work. They're usually very, very doubtful. They're not hopeful, and they're not looking to create solutions because they are too focused on the problem, and they are too focused on the emotions that the problems cause. So a lot of times they need to solve the problem and they need to fix the emotion, and they do that in various different ways, right? Or sometimes they don't even think about the solution because the only thing they care about is the problem. The only thing that they're so wrapped up is in the emotions that are leading, that the problems lead to. And those are the characteristics of a self-driven person. Self-driven people are focused on their self. They're focused on their problems. They're focused on their emotions. They're obsessed with fixing their anxiety. They're obsessed with fixing their depression. They don't like the state of their life, right? And a lot of times they have to solve these problems. And how does a person living in survival solve their problems? Easy, instant gratification. What can make me feel good right now in this very moment? Right? They're going to generally chase money. Money is exactly what they need, and money is not hard to get. You can do a lot of jeopardizing things to get money. So a lot of times you see people who are in a survival mind state, they put money over morals. They'll do things that they generally won't do just to survive, just to make a living. They'll work a job that they don't feel fulfilled with. They'll live a life that they're not happy with, and they'll do that their whole entire life because the goal is not to be better. The goal is to make money. The goal is to survive. They can't see past the next day. They can't see past the next check. So they work a 9 to 5. Some people even pick up 2 or 3 jobs just so they can survive, not so that they can accomplish the dreams and take the money and accomplish their purpose and accomplish their passion, just so they can have a place to live, just so they can have a place to eat, just so they can have a place to sleep, just so they can have clothes on their back. For the bare necessities most people are living their life for. And they need to escape, and they're pleasure driven. After working 3, 4 jobs, after working 8 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours for somebody else, after doing things that don't really fulfill you, now it's time to get fulfillment. And how do these people escape and get fulfillment? Through their pleasure. We can name endless ways people escape: social media, drugs, sex, a lot of things, unhealthy foods, unhealthy habits, things that feel good in a moment but don't serve us over time. So, person living in survival is not worried about their future. They're worrying about being okay now. They're more worried about pleasure and gratification and fixing their problematic emotions, right? So that also regulates unemotional intelligence. A person who is in a survival mode is not emotionally intelligent. They're not aware of what they feel, why they feel that, and how to change those feelings and create better outcomes in their life. And this is the result that most people live in survival mode occupy. And if you resonate with any of these things and these are your situation, we're going to talk about exactly how to switch out of this survival mode into a creator mindset. The results is these people live paycheck to paycheck. These people have very unhealthy lifestyles. They're not exercising, they're not eating properly, they're not worried about what they put in their body and what nutritional value it has. They're not worried about what they're consuming in their mind and the conversations that they're having. And if they're learning, they're worried about feeling good. And that leads to a lack of fulfillment because they haven't pushed themselves and they haven't reached the goals and they haven't succeeded the boundaries that they've put on themselves, and life has put boundaries on them. Life has them basically scared and because they need to survive. And they create unhealthy relationships because if we're not fulfilled and we're not being the best versions of ourselves and we give people that unfilled, that unwhole version of ourselves, now we're not showing up. And a lot of times these relationships become transactional. These relationships are based on what can you do for me, because I'm in need and I'm in lack. So we're not worried about how I can solve your problem. I'm worried about how you can solve my problem. Why I need your money. I need the things that you have to become whole. So a lot of unhealthy relationships, people don't know what they want from them, or people are in toxic relationships or have damaging friendships because the relationship is transactional. It's not about two people that are full and whole coming together to solve problems bigger than themselves. It's about two people looking to take from each other. And that's not the type of relationships that we want, especially when we talk about building the life that we want and building wealth. So when it comes to living in a survival mode, we have a negative perception of time and a negative perception of money. We have a very low awareness where we don't have enough, where we're living out of emotion, depressed, anxious, victimized, very critical, very doubtful, very problematic, very emotional, needing to get instant gratification, looking to get money, 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 over morals, over principles, over values. And a lot of times people don't know that your values and your morals is what help you make money or what dictate how you make money, right? They're going to go work a 9 to 5. They're going to escape by pleasure, and a lot of times they play lottery or they do things and they think they can get rich quick because they want to get lucky. They don't put faith in their own abilities. They don't strengthen their own mind and actually get educated, but they are more leaning on luck or something spontaneous good happen in their life, and they won't have to worry. So they'll play lottery, they'll gamble, and they'll take risks because they want to get lucky. They don't want to do the work over time, right? So these are people who are living out of survival mindset. Which one of these resonate with you? Where do you have the most problem when it comes to getting out of survival mindset? Are you too driven by the past? Are you too anxious about the future? Are you feel like time is moving by too fast, or you're running out of time? You're scared to make mistakes. You're too critical about how people feel about you, about what people think about you. I could have not made this video. I've actually made this video about 6 times because I didn't like the way the information was coming out. I was thinking too much about, are people going to resonate with it? How people are going to feel, to the point where I was like, should I even make this video? But that's living out of a survival mindset. When we come into a creator mindset, it's inevitable that I'm going to create the video. It's about, how do I make it entertaining? How do I make it the most informative that I can? Because it has to be put out there. The knowledge has to be spread, right? That's the difference between a creator mindset. This survival is going to say, well, this is what's wrong with it, this is what's wrong with it. And a creator is going to say, how do I make it better, right? If I have to do it 100 times, I want to be better, and I want it to be better, and I want to solve people problems. So let's dive really quickly here into the actions and the mindsets of a person who is living in a creator mindset. So the perception of time and money. Time and money for someone living in a creator mindset, time is infinite because we can't worry about what has happened in the past. The past is not coming into the future when we live in a creator mindset. The past is the past. The past is going away from the present, and the future is going away from the present now. So now is creating the past, and now is creating the future. People who live in creation mode understand this, and this is why they say live in the moment. This is why they say time is not real, because once you realize that time is real, or you work around time, then you stop using the ability to allow time to work for you, to use money to work for you. Creators don't work for money. They make money work for them. People who live in survival mode, they work for money. They trade time and money. These people trade knowledge for money. They take their experiences and they trade their education for money. They trade value for money, right? They understand that money and time are simply tools to move forward. And they utilize the time and they utilize the money as a tool to move forward in life. You can't move forward from the past. You can't move forward from the future. You can only move forward from where you are. And every moment, time is moving, things are changing. So you're learning and you're evolving with the times, or you're staying the same. And you're staying the same, living based off the past, right? So we want to change the way that we see time and we see money if we are moving and we want to be creators and we want to create generational wealth and we want to create prosperity inside of our life, right? You realize that you have enough. If you have a cell phone and you're watching this right now, if you have a computer and you're watching this, you have technology. So there's no way you can't start your YouTube. There's no way you can't spread your brand. There's no way you can't teach people what you want them to know. A lot of times you may feel like, I don't have the equipment. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the things that it takes to actually get it done yet. The thing is being resourceful, using exactly what you have to accomplish exactly what you want to do. And if you don't have the right things, How can you use the things that you have to get as much as you can done now? You're not worrying about what you don't have. You are way more focused on what you do have. So you have more than enough, and that way, when you understand you have enough and you can only use the things that you have, you take full control and accountability. So now it's about you taking the direction that you want in your life. And that takes control. That takes mental control. That takes emotional control, and that takes accountability. So you want good things in your life to happen. You have to take accountability for your life. If you don't like the way that things are happening in your life, if you don't like the way that things are happening in your world, what are you doing to change that situation? If you don't like it, what are you doing about it? If you're not doing anything about it, but you always talk about the problems, if you always complaining about what's wrong, but you never talk about what we can do to make it better or what you're doing to make it better, you are a survivor and you are not a creator. A creator is in full control and fully accountable. The world is messed up not because the government messed it up, not because they poisoned the food, not because of the way society is ran. Economy, the world is messed up, is because we are not stepping up and being accountable for our lives. Because of the things that we allow is the reason why things are happening the way that they are. And when you take full control, and when you take full accountability, when you take full control, and when you take full accountability, you stop allowing things in your life that you don't want. And when you are a survivor, you have to deal with things in your life that you don't want. But as a creator, you will cut away anything that is not serving you or helping you fulfill your purpose and your mission, right? So these people become emotionally intelligent. They understand their feelings. They understand their thoughts. They understand the reactions that they're having based off of those feelings and what these reactions are creating, right? It's alchemy. That's what alchemy is, creating the life that you want from a thought. You understand your feelings, you understand your reactions, you understand yourself. And the better you get at understanding yourself, the easier it is to solving your problems because you don't need to escape. You don't need to get pleasure, but you need to really get down to the root of the problem and take the processes that it takes to fix that. And that comes with exponential change. You're not looking to get lucky. People with a survival mindset are looking to get lucky, but people who have a creator mindset understands luck is when operation meets preparation. My apologies. People with a creator mindset understand that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. A lot of people get lucky, or a lot of people think that you got lucky or things are going in your life because it's luck. People who are successful did not get lucky. They got prepared. And when you get prepared, you can prepare yourself for opportunity. You can put yourself in situations where opportunity is, and since you have prepared yourself with the knowledge, with the time, with the work that it takes to actually be successful, you can capitalize off of that opportunity way better than somebody who just ends up in a situation but they don't know what to do. So for a creator, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. For a survival, luck is just something that happens and we don't know why it happens. So our mindset and our awareness and our ability to control our emotions and having full accountability for our lives prepares us for being able to capitalize on that opportunity. It gives us the opportunity to seek out opportunities that align with us and what we want to do, right? So to actually do that, we have to not be problematic. We have to not be emotional. We have to not be problematic, and we have to not be emotional. But still, we have to understand the problem, understand our emotions. And when we understand our problems and understand our emotions, we can become educated and calculated. There's no way you can solve a problem without understanding the problem. There's no way you can solve a problem without learning about the problem and different ways to solve the problem. And then there's no way to become successful and solve our problems without being calculated, without being intentional, without being able to set a process and set the steps necessary to accomplish these things. So, to be purpose driven instead of self driven, you have to be educated and calculated. You have to be emotional intelligence. You have to take full control and full accountability for everything you do and also everything that happens to you in your life. And you have to understand that you have more than enough. You have to live out a sense of abundance, right? So these is the way that the survival mindset solves problems. This is the way that creators solve problems in their life, right? When you take accountability and when you have full control, a lot of times people won't put their morals over money. Creators live based on their morals. They live on their principles. What they will do, what they won't do, what kind of person they are, because that is what shapes a person who is a creator, their morals, their beliefs, their characters, their principles. This does not shape survival people. Money shapes people who live out of survival. Morals shape people who are creating their reality. So when you have a certain code, when you have certain ethics that you live by and you stand for, you won't go outside of those things at no cost. And not only will you not go outside of those things, you will use the principles as a guide in your life to be able to make money. So morals not over money at all. And then that way you become solution oriented, which is calculated as well too. These people aren't looking to create a solution. They're looking to find a solution. These people are looking to become the solution. Creators want to be the solution. Survivors want to find a solution. Finding a solution outside of themselves. Creators find solutions inside of themselves. They become the solution. They become the solution to their own problem. And they become success driven. They become so goal oriented. The only thing they can focus on, what do I need to do to become better, to be able to accomplish the mission, whether it's create unity, whether it's start a brand, whether it's create more sales, whether it's to buy a house that I want to, whether it's to be able to become financially secure and be able to travel exactly when they want. They understand that is the goal. When you understand what your goal is, let's say your goal is financial wealth, you understand you need to educate yourself and you need to be calculated and become purpose driven to be able to accomplish the goal. People who live out of survival, they have goals too. They are goal oriented, but they think if they work enough, if they trade their time for money enough, or if they become lucky, they can accomplish their goals. And that is not an educated or a calculated decision, and that's why these people generally don't become financially successful, right? This is the result that happens when you become solution oriented, when you become success driven and goal oriented. Things happen. You create better habits. You're not doing the same things that you used to do. You're learning new, better ways to do things. You're learning new and better ways to think because that is exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for the opportunity to learn. And every experience that you have, every mistake that you have is an opportunity to learn. People who live in creator mode have no problem making mistakes. They embrace mistakes. They're looking for an opportunity to become better, to know more, to be able to become the best version of themselves, and to be able to make adjustments positively inside of their life. And the only way that they can happen if they make mistakes. I've made this video countless times. I've made various amount of speech errors. I've made various mistakes. I've created, but that didn't stop me. Actually, it inspired me more to actually get through it and be able to do it the correct way and the way that I wanted to do it. And the only way I was able to do that is by making mistakes. But if I said I don't look good on camera, my hairline look weird, my content is too boring, it's not fun enough, I'm not jumping around and dancing, people not gonna watch this. If I was being doubtful, if I was being critical, when I was being problematic, I'm creating problems about why I won't and why I can't succeed. Instead, I said, okay, I made a mistake. I have to keep moving forward. I'm going to use these mistakes as a tool to move forward. I'm going to learn from the experiences that I'm having. Every time that I mess up, every time I make a mistake, maybe I'll rewatch it. Maybe I'll try and try again until I actually accomplish it and get it right. That's the difference between survival or a creator. It's not maybe if I can get it right. It's How do I get it right? Because I know I can do it. What does it take? That is a different mindset. That's the different awareness between somebody who's living in survival and somebody who is a creator, right? They're becoming prepared so they can capitalize off of all the opportunity. So in exchange, they create better habits. When you create better habits, you realize you have more control. You are controlling your reality just as much as your reality is controlling you. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the one who are creating these situations in your life based on how you think, based on how you feel, and how you react to the things that you feel. And that becomes a hyper focus. You become hyper focused on self progression. You become more focused and hyper focused on unity. You become more focused on solving people problems. You become more focused on letting go of things that don't serve you, right? And what that does is that builds a stronger community because then we have more competent adults. And a strong community is filled with support and uplift. If you're not part of a community that supports you and uplifts you, you need to change the people that you are hanging around. A lot of people know that mindsets are contagious. So if you are contaminated and you're surrounding yourself or you're watching content that is not supporting you in the things that you want to do, not uplifting you to do the things that you're being called to do, and it's keeping you down and having you chasing pleasure, then you have to reevaluate your community and the relationships that you have with people, the relationships that you have with social media, and the relationships that you have with these outlets, right? When you have a strong community, you have support, you have uplifting people, and you create healthy relationships, healthy business relationships where people are willing to pay you for your expertise and for your services, for your knowledge, right? You create healthy, loving relationships where you're being the best version of yourself, so you attract people who are becoming the best version of themselves. And instead of two people being in a transactional, unhealthy relationship, what is it for me? You are with somebody who is saying, hey, what are your problems and what do I have in my life that I can help you solve your problems? And they come with the same energy. Well, I'm a full person as well too. I'm happy with who I am. How can I make your life easier? And that's what kind of relationship you want to have, whether it's business, friendship, platonic, relationship, intimacy, two people who are looking to serve each other instead of unhealthy relationships where two people are looking to just take from each other, right? So these are the lifestyles of two different people, a survival mindset and a creator mindset. So you say, how can we use this principle to create financial wealth? How can we be able to use this principle to be able to generate money? And a lot of times it's this equation here. Time, our perception of it, how we use it, how we see it, and the awareness of it, and our ability to solve problems. So this equation, time, how we utilize our time, the things that we do, the conversations that we have, how we perceive time, our awareness, how we see ourselves, how we see money, how we see our reality, and our ability to solve the problems in our life and the ability to solve the problem in other people's lives. If we talk about Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, the people who created these social media platforms, the technology industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the makeup, cosmetic industry, all these industries are revolved around one thing: solving people's problems, whether it's poor health, whether it's poor mindset, whether it's the inability to connect with people, whether it's whatever it is. These creators, people who create, are focused on one thing: solving people problems. People who are in survival mode are focused on one thing: solving their own problems. Right? That's the difference. Self driven, purpose driven. The purpose is a stronger, healthier relationship with yourself and with your community if you are a creator, right? And this is why people have poor mindsets, because they're living out of survival and that results in being financially poor. But somebody who is in a creator mindset is living out of wealth because they are in control and accountable, and they have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of understanding and a wealth of solutions, not a wealth of problems. And that way they create this wealth inside of their life. So we have to ask ourselves, are we living in survival or are we living in a creator mindset? And as we just track back over one more time, we want to make exponential change. We're not looking to change overnight and say, I'm going to create $1 billion business overnight. Okay, I'm going to create $1 billion business. What do I need to do every single day? What steps do I need to take? What mindsets do I need to occupy? What conversations should I be having? Are the conversations that I'm having about making money? Are the conversations that I'm having about building a better lifestyle? Are the conversations I have pleasure driven, right? Am I using my time wisely? Am I using my time as a tool and taking the small steps that it takes to get better? Or am I wasting my time? Am I strapped down? Am I running out of time? Am I scared of making mistakes that I don't have time to actually do the things that I love to do because I have to survive, right? Which mindset am I occupying, and how aware I am of my ability to solve these problems? When you become aware and you are able to see the problems in your life, then you can sit down and become educated and calculated and come up with solutions. And when you can sit down and become educated and calculated and come up with solutions for your problems, then people will pay you to solve that very same problem in your life. That is your purpose. Your purpose is to solve your problems, and that way you can profit off of solving that same problem that you've had for other people. And that ties into your purpose. So let's break this down into a little bit more simple terms about how we can use the 4 P's, the 4 pillars of finance to be able to become successful, right? So we have our purpose. Our purpose is what we're being called to do. The things, actually, our purpose is generally our problem. A lot of people think their problems are their problems, but in reality, your problem is your purpose. And the reason why your problem is your purpose is because the only time that we learn as human beings is when we are put under stress. We have the best results out of our life, and we try the hardest when we are going through difficult situations. It's always good, it's always easy to be okay when things are going well in our life. But the question is, how do we operate when life is not going the way that we want it to? And that is a test to us to see what we're actually being called to do. So your purpose is what you're being called to do despite what you want to do. Where is life pulling you into? Where do you fit the demand? Where are you needed in society? How you can benefit people with your gifts. And that is your purpose. When you figure out your gifts, what makes you different, what makes you special, what are you exceptional at with very little effort? What can you do with the least amount of effort but still be able to feel fulfilled and whole? That is your purpose. And then you have your passion, your intensity in the way that you do the things, the way that you follow your purpose, right? If you are passionate or are you not passionate about your purpose, it creates the energy that it takes to be able to become persistent. So you have your purpose, what you're being called to do. Then you have your passion. So if you have a purpose but you have no passion, then you'll never accomplish your passion because your purpose because you're not passionate about it. Purpose is what needs to be done. Passion is how you feel about what needs to be done. So a lot of people feel like their passion is what they love to do. But the passion is the feeling that you get from doing it. You're passionate about it because it's your purpose. And if you find out what you're passionate about, generally you have found your purpose. And if you can use purpose, passion, and persistence, not consistency. Consistency is being able to create a routine. But persistency is being able to overcome and keep going despite challenges and obstacles that you have in life. So when you have a difficult situation, when life is telling you to quit, when life is telling you to stop, but you won't give up no matter what, that is persistence. So when you're persistent and when you're following your passion and you find your purpose, you can utilize that to make profit. You can figure out what you're good at. You can do it happily, and you can do it all the time. And guess what? Money is going to flow to you effortlessly by doing what you love. It is so much easier to make money doing what you love than to make money doing. It's so much easier to make money doing what you love than it is to make money doing things that you don't love. So, as we wrap up, I just want to ask you to take a deep look at yourself. Sit down and ask yourself, what habits am I occupying? What mindsets do I have? Am I moving more out of creator mindset? Am I moving more out of survival mindset? Am I utilizing my purpose? Am I utilizing my time and my awareness wisely? Am I creating the things that I want for my life? Or I'm living based off the past? I'm chasing instant gratification of what feels good. I'm living check to check. I'm not getting the results that I want. We need to move into a creator mindset. And if we collectively shift into a creator mindset, not only do we create financial wealth for ourselves, we also create a better planet for each other. We create a better world because people are living more fully. People are moving out of love. People are moving out of intention. Instead of just trying to get by, people who live out of survival will do things to you just to survive, right? And we don't need to be living like that. And this is the way that most people are living. But there is a very big difference between what we desire and the actions that we take. So we're here to just bridge that gap. And a lot of it happens here. And we want to connect the mind to the heart. This is why it's linear, right? You have the mind, you have the heart, down into your gut. All of these things line up. And that's the same thing. You have your time, which is, let's say, your time is your gut. You have your awareness, which is your mind, and your problem solving abilities, which is your heart. So when you're able to think properly and you're aware of what's going on and you're able to trust your heart and your problem solving abilities and you use your time wisely, then you are operating fully, right? So a lot of these things are energetic processes and they correlate to our body and they correlate to metaphysics and the way that life operates. Finances and money is energy. So we can learn how to put this energy in the right place, how to utilize this energy properly to be able to get the best outcome out of our lives. We're not wasting time no more. We're not chasing instant gratification no more. We are not being problematic. We're not being critical. We're not being overly emotional. Instead, we're going to create our reality. We're going to be emotionally intelligent. We're going to educate ourselves and become calculated. And we're going to create the life that we want and not the life that's given to us. If you like this content and this resonates with you and you want to tap into more of the concepts about how to move out of a survival mindset into a creator mindset, comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what questions you have, where you struggle at, and what steps you are taking to escape the survival mindset and move into a creator mindset. Thank you again for joining me. Welcome back to the Truth Talk Podcast.